Okay. So we are live now. I'll first start with the questions that are already asked to us. Okay. So we are live now.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Khalid Iqbal is asking, sir, how can you decide whether the person is made for armed forces or not? Question.
Fine. Who has asked this question? I did not register.
Khalid Iqbal.
Ali.
Khalid Iqbal.
Okay. Khalid, this is a question which will be there in the minds of a lot of people. So it's not that it's an inappropriate question. Think of that you have to look at whether you have the motivation or the inclination to join the defense services. There is very little to say that you are made for this job. A lot of people talk like that at home, among friends and all that. Let us say if somebody is not inclined towards physical activity or has a tendency to avoid, adventure, physical hardships, dangers, has aversion for such things, that indicates that the person is not very suited for the defense services. But thing is that in the outlook of No Frills Academy, we do not go by any this thing that a person is, made and all that for defense services. What you have to do is that you have to just start working on the aspects which are needing improvement, which will render you suitable for defense services. That is what something you should do. Fine. So, Khalid, this is what it is. So don't get stuck that you are not made for defense services and all that. Practically, all of us can develop our aspects which are rendering us not very suitable today to make us suitable for the defense services tomorrow. Yeah. Next question, please.
Sir, Vivek is asking, sir, since I work for armed forces as a defense civilian, do I need to be more frank with my interviewing officers?
See, firstly, Vivek, I do not advise anybody to be not transparent and frank. I advocate the philosophy of honesty being the best policy, and be open and transparent in answering whatever questions are posed to you. So, whether you are a defense civilian or you are any XYZ, you should be honest. There is no reason to be dishonest, and I can't really understand why, a person coming from a particular background needs to be more honest, and a person coming from a different background needs to be more dishonest. I mean, I really can't understand. That means that मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर को कम झूठ बोलना चाहिए, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स इंजीनियर को ज्यादा झूठ बोलना चाहिए, डॉक्टर को लॉयर के बनिस्बत ज्यादा झूठ बोलना चाहिए. आई मीन आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड दीस थिंग्स. सबको सच ही बोलना चाहिए. दैट्स ऑल. या नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन प्लीज.
मृत्युंजय Bajpai is asking, sir, I do not get opportunity to participate in extracurricular activities I belong to a very rural area. Will it have a negative impact? Commonly asked question.
The thing is, whatever your opportunities life has afforded to you, you have to make the best use of them. So I can understand that in your area, there is limited scope for playing games like probably cricket and maybe the expensive games or maybe even hockey or something. So in our rural areas around my place, I see that volleyball is a very popular game, and practically all people play volleyball, and they do indulge in wrestling, and all the defense aspirants from rural areas they come more. They all of them create some akhadas or create some space where they go for run, and they check out their timing for 1 mile run because it is the important test in army recruitment rally. So these things I'm sure would be available to you also. So you prepare for your physical fitness, and games like volleyball are good enough, whatever is around, wrestling. So why should you feel, handicapped? It is not going to have any impact. And often you may find that people coming from rural background who have had this kind of upbringing, working in the fields, walking long distances, they are tougher than somebody coming from environment of Mumbai, a rural kid, sorry, an urban kid who is staying on the 13th floor, uses the lift to come down, takes a bus to commute to school, college, and practically runs after extra tuition classes and all. He's hardly getting any physical exercise, and often the environment at home and the school and college is such that person has also not indulged in much of physical activities or even games. So compared to such a person, you had a better exposure as far as physical activities are concerned. And my experience shows that such people are hard, physically tougher. So this is not a big deal. So you identify whatever aspects you are needing to improve upon, work upon them systematically. All kinds of information is available on the internet, and you can make use of them. It's not going to be a major handicap in your selection. So don't get worried about that. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Preetam is asking, I am in my first year of BCA, distance learning. My aim is to crack CDS examination, but my backup option is police, state police, SI. I am giving my 100% in clearing these examinations. Sir, still, do I fall in Sarkari exam ki tayari waste of time group?
See, if you are a student and you are just in your first year of BCA, that means you have got time for your graduation. That degree you have to get. So you do not come in the category of Sarkari imtihan ki tayyari wale persons who are wasting their time. This category is a term I use for people who have finished their graduation, are employable, but are sitting at home, and the only engagement that they have is preparing for Sarkari Imtahan. So you don't fall in that category. And you're preparing for these two exams with full energy and commitment is a very good idea. However, you have no reason to neglect your BCA studies. You should be doing that as well and doing that sincerely. And your first option is army, that is fine. Your second option is police, that is fine. Your tertiary plan should be about getting employed in the computer line for which you are acquiring the degree. If you are acquiring this degree just for the heck of it, then that is a poor idea, and you are getting used to wasting time in your routine college life. That is something which I totally am against. You should not do that. You should take interest in your BCA studies and gain knowledge which is required of graduate having computer knowledge, and you should be employable in that domain as well. This should be your outlook. Thank you.
Yes, sir. One different question has been asked. Deepak Semwal is asking, sir, I have a question. What is the basic difference between PPDT and TAT? Or is there any difference, PPDT and TAT?
Difference is there in PPDT as well as TAT, and you should go to our website or you should read our book. I have explained these things very clearly there. Thing is that in the PPDT, there is a requirement. When you first get, you see the picture, you are given a sheet of paper in which you have to mark the characters along with their location, and you have to give their age, mood, and gender. So this is a mandatory requirement of PPDT. This thing is not there in TAT at all. Also, in the PPDT, you are required to give the action. The term used is action. It is more appropriate term would be title for the PPDT. That is the theme on what the story is about. So these are things which are additional requirements over the TAT. In the TAT, you just have to start writing the story. It is not mandatory to give the age and gender of the characters you have observed or the main character on which you are writing the story. So this is what it is. Balanced things are absolutely the same. You observe the picture, you visualize as to what is happening, what is shown in the scene. So, and the sequence given is very clearly explained to you that what has led to the situation which is shown in the picture, and what you visualize is going to happen subsequently. So in TAT, just this much is there. In PPDT, these additional things have to be written, which I told you in the beginning. Otherwise, I mean, the basic idea is exactly the same. Yeah, next question.
Roshan Mishra is asking, sir, how many kilometers do we need to run normally so that we are not overweight? My current weight is 74 kgs. How much should I run?
So I don't know your height, so I cannot really prescribe to you as to what should be your ideal weight and all, because I am plus of 75 kgs. I was around that much weight when I was in training, because my height is around 6 feet. For my height, my weight is okay. So accordingly, from the chart, you will have to assess as to what is the right weight for you. And the right approach to weight reduction would not be just by running to reduce weight. That's not a good idea. I would suggest you go to our fitness guide, or you from my website you read our blog about basal metabolic rate, in which I have explained how crucial it is in understanding this concept and using it to tackle your weight problem. Assuming that you are somewhat overweight, or even if you are okay, little bit overweight or not, whatever, exercises have got three forms. One, is the cardio type of exercises. And these exercises are like running, cycling, swimming, rowing. Uh, so these exercises will raise your heart rate, and they should be pursued for a reasonable duration, for say plus of 25 minutes or so continuously, to give you the good effect of calorie burning, weight reduction, and so on. The other form of exercises are the strength building exercises, which come under the category of anaerobic exercises, in which we have to depend upon the stored oxygen to develop our muscle strength. And simply to understand, these exercises would come under the category of like push-ups, squats, sit-ups, chin-ups, pull-ups, these kind of exercises, and all the exercises which you do handling weights. So they increase your muscle mass, and they are also very important in weight reduction, as well as improving your strength and posture. The third form of exercises are the stretching exercises, which ensure that our flexibility is good. Uh, these are the yoga kind of exercises. Yoga, generally, they are static stretching exercises through various asanas. There are dynamic stretching exercises also, which if you just click on on Google, you will find how athletes indulge in dynamic stretching. This is very important. So these three forms of exercises are to be utilized, and depending on your requirements, you will have to get a good mix of these. So considering that you are overweight, uh, indulge in a proportion of all these suitably to improve your abilities. If your running ability is not that good, let's say you can't run 5 kilometers in something like um, 28 to 30 minutes, that means your running needs improvement. So you will have to plan to improve that further. If you can't do more than 5, 6 pull-ups, or say 15, 20 push-ups, then you will have to increase the portion of strength exercises to improve upon these aspects. And stretching, of course, you have to do whatever you may be kind of exercise regimen you follow. So build your routine accordingly, have a good mix of these, and this will help you reduce weight. You can lay down your targets to be accomplished. For I would say a good defense aspirant, the targets to be accomplished should be like you should be able to do 5 kilometers in around 25 minutes. You should be able to do 40 push-ups, uh, 10 chin-ups, and 40 sit-ups. These parameters would be reasonably okay. If you are a girl, then 5 kilometers in say uh, 32 to 30 minutes, push-ups 15, chin-ups 2, sit-ups 40. If you can meet these parameters, you would be okay. Don't have to be overly concerned about weight. If weight is a concern, but target these, try to target these goals which I just narrated, and along with that, keep a check on your sugar intake, and to some extent even fat intake, in case you are tending to consume a large quantity of these. Primarily to the sugar intake, which should be washed. Particularly now that the summers are due to start, and you will have a lot of these advertisements of soft drinks, and even drinks like energy drinks like Glucon D and all that. These are absolutely trash. Please don't go for these. Body doesn't need Glucon D, shade and all. Just the normal water is best, and home cooked food is good enough. And let me not get into more of the diet plan and all that. So I hope I have been able to answer your questions. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Uh, Naval is asking, sir, in my ACC entry interview, the interviewing officer asked me, what are the points that I do not like about my job? And I told him that when we are deployed in administrative work, I do not like that. Did it create a negative impact?
All such outlooks of negative impact, positive impact, these are absolutely trash ideas as per me. You should be honest and open and you should answer whatever is correct. And anybody who gets involved in thinking whether it has got a positive, negative impact and all that is definitely, or not definite, has got a very high chances of getting rejected because such a person is not answering honestly. He is more concerned about what the interviewing officer would be happy to listen, and he would be feeding him such trash. So please don't do that. Change your outlook. Don't get bothered as to the impact or what the answer is the interviewing officer expecting from you. Just answer honestly. If your organization has got a problem, please state so. And if your organization and if it's something you do not like about your organization or the nature of work, you should state it very clearly. There should be no hesitation in doing that. Don't get bothered about the impact part. Fine. This should be your outlook. But one thing I would like to say here, and that is that cribbing is not good. Like if you are at home, there are some people who are always cribbing कि खाना ठीक नहीं बना, mother ये taste ठीक नहीं है, नमक ऐसे डल गया and all that. And then that kind of approach should not be there. So you see, all of us have a decent understanding of what an employer has to offer. And in accordance with that, if your work conditions are okay, then you should not be cribbing about it. For example, today, with the work from home becoming quite common, and particularly in the IT sector, the working hours of log in to log out are definitely not 8 in the entire country. So if you are being asked to work something like 9 to 10 hours and you crib, it is not going to help your cause much, because thing is that if you shift from Infosys to Tech Mahindra, the situation is going to remain more or less the same. You can convey this point to the interviewing officer that the work hours have increased, or this kind of nature, whatever the job nature has, evolved. That is what it is, and which you are finding it not to your liking, and there's nothing wrong in that. But if you say that this is making things very difficult and all that for you, that would not be a very right thing to do, because that's how the society is working. So that should be the outlook. And please don't bother about the impact. Say straight whatever is there. Thank you.
Sir, Nihal Mehta is asking, sir, how do we give higher level of response in VAT in order to get more marks? Higher level of response in VAT.
Okay, actually, I don't know the answer to it, because I give I probably low level of responses, because my level has never become very high or higher. So maybe somebody more accomplished running this coaching academy would be able to answer you well. As far as my take on these responses of WAT are concerned, is that whatever you write, the meaning should be correct, and the language should be correct. And the third point is that ignore all trash advice you find on websites and through coaching academies. And most of students of No Frills Academy have benefited from this advice. And you can collaborate with the selected candidates or listen to their interviews. nobody ever bothered as to what to do with could, should, not, negative words and all that. They simply saw the word, made simple sentences, and they got through. So nothing like high or higher and all that. I will not get involved in any such discussion. It is not required. What comes to your mind, which is sensible, just write that. Like if a word is shown like death, and you write straight ahead of it, death is inevitable. It's a sensible sentence. It's a very short sentence which can be written in 5 seconds. And in my view, it is a good sentence also. If you get a word like failure and you write that failure is a stepping stone to success, it is a short sentence, can be written in 5-6 seconds, and it is a good sentence as well. I do not know about what is high and higher level of sentences, and you don't have to know definitely, because I not only got selected in my first attempt, I also worked in the selection system, so I should be having a reasonable idea as to what happens in the selection system.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Deepak Semwal is asking how to answer that question if the interviewing officer is has asked, what is your biggest fear?
Okay, there are no great answers that I have to questions that you keep seeing on YouTube channel. The IAS officer was posed this question and he came up with this very smart reply, and somebody came up with some ultra smart replies. I have no smart replies. You just answer honestly. If you are, your fear is of lizards, or you fear failure, or whatever you fear, just answer honestly. And often it may happen that you are unable to think immediately and come to an answer. Do take your time, pause, and whatever your answer is, answer that honestly, because your answer need not conform to any template existing in the world, or any template that you perceive is existing in the mind of the interviewing officer, because you are a unique creation of God, and your fear could be quite different from what the fear is of anyone else. Fine. So, like for the moment, the biggest fear I have in my mind has got very little to do with my immediate life or people around me, but it is of the Indian society, that the kind of leadership we are consistently electing is going to make us a very regressive society, and the future of India appears bleak to me. That's the biggest fear I have today.
We will wind up today's session. Thank you all for joining us. And please write to us at nofrillsacademy@gmail.com for your specific doubts. Please keep watching Col Nehru's YouTube channel, and you can join us as well, join the academy as well. nofrillsacademy.com is our official website. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Yogita. Take care. God bless. You can next time you can ask people to read up about our blogs on India's economy, budget, and all that which we have written, and the solutions, and they can ask questions related to those also.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We'll post this through Instagram or something, and I'll ask the team. Meanwhile, we will talk this today itself. Please go through the blogs that are there on the website, No Frills Academy at nofrillsacademy.com blogs. In that, economics section is there. Recently updated free documents. Please go through that, and then you can ask questions related to even economics.
Yes,
Okay,
it will be helpful to not just defense aspirants, so IES aspirants and aspirants of other competitive examinations as well.
Okay, okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, take care. Bye bye.